Hey everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, and you are watching CD Junkie. On this episode, I'm going to talk about Ultravox, but I'm not really going to talk about the whole career. I'm going to focus on the deluxe editions of their first four albums and the deluxe edition of Midge Ure's The Gift. But before I show you those and play a little bit of music, I want to at least give you a little bit of history. The band originally put out a few albums with John Fox as their lead vocalist. Slightly different lineup of the band, but John Fox and their guitar player left. Now the core members of the group, which was Warren Cann on drums, Billy Currie on keyboards, and the late Chris Cross on bass, they went in search of a new guitar player, a new vocalist. Now, Billy Currie had been working with a gentleman by the name of Midge Ure, and Midge had been a member of a sort of a Bay City Rollers type band called Slick. Then he was in a post-punk band by the name of Rich Kids. And then he toured with Thin Lizzy and then played in other projects, but he got involved with a group called Visage. And that's where he and Billy Currie first started working together. Billy Currie invited him to join Ultravox. And in 1980, the Connie Plank produced album Vienna was released. This was a huge, absolutely huge album for them. The song Vienna remains a classic. It got to number 2 on the charts, and it was held off from the number 1 spot by Shut Up or You Face by Joe Dolce in the UK. I'll tell you, that's frustrating. But this also has Sleepwalk, Passing Strangers, Astrodyne, lots of really, really cool songs. 1981, they put out the album Rage in Eden. This was a very different sounding album. It actually sounded closer to what Midge and Billy were doing with Visage. Sounded closer to that new romantic sound. And but this actually probably is my favorite Ultravox album, where other albums have songs that I like more than some of the songs on this album. I think as a whole, this has a very unique and different feel to it, and it shows them exploring and experimenting and being pretty adventurous on this album. But this was, as I believe I said, produced by Connie Plank, and it may not have the huge hits, but it has The Thin Wall, The Voice, things like that on it. Really wonderful album. In 1982, they released Quartet, which was produced by George Martin and engineered by Jeff Emmerich, who some of you may know were kind of involved with the Beatles. But this is a great album. This is the one with Reap the Wild Wind, We Came to Dance, Hymn, Visions in Blue. And this is actually a very commercial sounding album. It's a lot slicker than the previous 2 albums. Lots of great pop songs on it. Should have been huge in the US. It was a reasonably sized hit, but just nothing earth-shattering. But still a great, wonderful album, Quartet from 1982. In 1983, they put out a live EP, but they returned with a studio album in 1984, the self-produced Lament. This is the album with Dancing with Tears in My Eyes, one of their most popular songs. It also has White China, One Small Day. This is a very, very solid album. Might be my second favorite after Rage in Eden, but it's absolutely fabulous, wonderful. And then they took a little bit of break, and Midge Ure came with an album called The Gift. This came out in 1985, and it didn't have any input from the Ultravox guys, but look, Midge Ure is my third favorite vocalist after Elvis Presley and Tim Finn. This video is going to focus on the albums that I just talked about, because they all have expanded deluxe edition box sets. And but I just want to just real fast, I'm going to tell you, 1986, they came back with an album called Ultravox. Warren Cann had left the band. He was the drummer. He was replaced by Mark Brzezicki from Big Country, and it sounds like it. Very different. This is a very rock album. It doesn't sound like that sort of synth pop new romantic, and there's bits of folk in here, and I'll tell you, it took a lot of us by surprise back in 1986, but I've learned to love the album. Hopefully they will be doing a deluxe box set of this as well. The band split up after that. Midge Ure did put out an album called Answers to Nothing, which has the song Dear God, which is probably my favorite thing that Midge Ure has done. But this is another great solo album, and hopefully they're going to do an expanded edition of this. Now, Midge Ure has gone on to a great solo career. I don't know if they're going to do deluxe editions of those albums, but this is all the stuff that was kind of released on Chrysalis. But you can also get various Ultravox collections, like there's one called The Collection. And that has a song called Love's Great Adventure, which is not on any album, but it is on the deluxe edition of Lament. There's also If I Was, the very best of Midge Ure and Ultravox, which has his solo stuff and his stuff with Ultravox in there. And they did reunite, Warren, Chris, Midge, and Billy reunited for an album called Brilliant in 2012, and they did a couple tours, but that split up. And of course, we recently lost Chris Cross, so the original Ultravox is no more, but still a great recorded legacy. Now, before I show you these box sets, what I want to tell you about them real fast is these deluxe packages. They not only contain digitally remastered versions of the albums, they contain Steven Wilson remixes of the albums. Now, Ragin' Eden, believe it or not, they couldn't find master tapes to two of the songs, I believe it was. So those songs are not included on the Steven Wilson remix, obviously, but they are included on the original album. But each box set also contains all the B-sides, 12-inch mixes, live tracks, unreleased, demos or studio tracks or different mixes, and they are just jam-packed with Ultravox goodness. So why don't we take a look at those box sets, and I'll tell you a little bit about them. Vienna came out in 1980, produced by Connie Plank. This is a 5 CD and 1 DVD, as you can see there. And the second gatefold packaging has a envelope containing reproductions of photo contact sheets for each of the band members. It also contains a booklet that features information about the recording of the albums, the songs, etc. There was an RSD 2 CD version of this that was released that contains the Steven Wilson remix of the album, as well as an instrumental version of the album that is unavailable elsewhere. Ragin' Eden was released in 1981, also produced by Connie Plank. This is 5 CDs and 1 DVD, as you can see there, handily inserted in that jacket. Then here is another gatefold jacket. Contains a reproduction of a tour program from the Ragin' Eden tour, and it also contains a booklet that features information on the songs, the recording of the album, etc., everything you'd want to know. There was also another RSD 2 CD release that featured the Steven Wilson remix of the album, as well as an instrumental version of the album unavailable elsewhere. Quartet was released in 1982, produced by George Martin and engineered by Jeff Emmerich. It is 6 CDs and a DVD audio, as you can see right there in that gatefold package. The second gatefold package contains a tour program reproduction, as well as a booklet containing all the information on the album and the songs and interviews and all that fun stuff. There is also a 2 CD version of this that came out on RSD, and that contains the Steven Wilson remix of the album, as well as an instrumental-only version, only available in this 2 CD set. Lament was released in 1984. This is a 7 CD and 1 DVD audio set there. And this also contains another gatefold package that contains a reproduction of a tour program, as well as a booklet containing all the information on the album and the recording of it. The albums are produced by Ultravox. There is a 2 CD version that's scheduled to be released on RSD 2024 that will have the Steven Wilson remix and an instrumental version of the album. There is also a 4 CD deluxe edition of Midge Ure's first solo album called The Gift. Came out in 1985. 4 discs, bonus tracks, lots of information in the booklet. And those are the box sets. So now I've decided to put together a medley featuring songs off of those box sets. 2 songs from each album, just little snippets of the songs, and it'll give you an idea of what Ultravox sounds like. Now, for the most part, I've used Steven Wilson remixes on this, so it's just a great way to introduce yourself to the music of Ultravox. So sit back, relax, give this a listen, and I will see you on the other side.
Straight
that's it. I hope this inspires you to check out the music of Ultravox and Midge Ure. Wonderful. You know, if you don't want to invest in these deluxe edition box sets, try to find the 2 CD record store day versions of each of these albums, or the original vinyl or the original CD editions. Whatever you can get your hands on, it would be fantastic. Such a wonderful band. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Ring that bell for future notifications. And until the next time, remember me. I'm Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.